say.
Nicole, hello, Nicole, and
Welcome to the July meeting, Kingsbury.
Sorry, I'm eating. Is that okay?
Let's do it.
you bring an extra spoon?
Delicious.
What is
It's
it?
just pesto pasta. That's it. Homemade by Allison.
Fabulous.
Oh, I didn't even see you there.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's start with our pledges to the flags.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Oh, I didn't know that one.
It's just close enough to screw you up if you, no, well.
It's on the, Jessica puts it on the,
Thank you, Jessica.
I'm just following
I think there was
Melda.
one meeting when we all like did half the American and half the
Yeah.
Texas at the end, and it's like, oh, sorry about that, America.
well, when somebody starts,
Yeah.
then you're
Seriously.
done. You're
I
done
always
for.
get kind of messed up with the I pledge allegiance to you, Texas.
Yeah.
There's something weird about that. Texas.
We'll have a roll call.
Commissioner Ignacio.
Here.
Commissioner Heinemeier.
Here.
Mayor Nolan.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, we'll call this meeting to order. Announcements. I do have a check report. The thing that was, and here's, if anybody wants one. The overall, our total balance is $215, $513.41. When we got our this month's sales tax, $29.65. It was down like 18% from last year. We haven't kind of broken the 3,000 the last couple of months, but still a good amount for the city. One thing on here, the CPA state fiscal, the $684.93 credit here, that was from the mixed beverage tax receipts, and we did not get a deposit in May. We got, and it's usually about $200 and something dollars. And I looked back, and sure enough, we got from the state, we get the sales tax with the mixed beverage sales receipts, and we got, those two every month except for May, and we did not get it. And so this month, when it came in, $684. So there must have been some kind
Maybe they
of,
didn't pay it or something.
maybe, yeah, exactly. So that's why that one, I believe, is so large, because the May one did not come through. And I didn't notice in June that it had not gone through. And then so in June we got our sales tax, and then you can see in July it was almost the same amount sales tax for July that we just received last. I have July. And we continue to every month move $2,000 into the Texas class account, where we continue to get some very reasonable interest rates on that. Other housekeeping items, June was the last month of the second quarter, and I got the 941 Social Security withholding payment into the state, so hopefully we won't be getting any. And I actually got a $1.96 something refund from them. So, yeah, yeah.
At all.
That's something that has to be done every quarter, paying in the withholdings from Jessica's check, Social Security withholding, and Medicare, if one or any of those are removed from the check. Other than that, I don't have any particular announcements. Any questions about check report? Okay. Wasn't anything too crazy on there except for that sales tax. Trying to think if there was anything else, so we'll go ahead. Yes.
I don't know if this comes anywhere in our agenda or not, the survey on Jannersville and Woodrow Center. Any other information? Just, you know where they were in that, just beginning?
It was a surveyor. And at first he said County Road 232 and 233. And I said, oh, well, that's not in the city limits. And then I was like, oh, no, wait. Because I was thinking like FM or something. And then I had to bring up the map, and I got contacted by a surveyor asking about utilities on the 1,100 acres of that's near Frank and I, wanting to know about who provides utilities and water and septic. Yes. So, yeah, that gentleman lives in San Antonio.
And I was gonna look, and I never did. Do you know what size that entire area is? It's not, is it the entire 1,100?
It's like in two large tracts.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
like totals about
Okay.
100 acres. So I didn't, once we got on to, oh, these are the roads you're talking about, then we went into, okay, here's what service providers there are for water, for electric, and then we ended the call, and then I thought, well, I should have asked a few more questions there, but he could have answered them or not.
Yes,
but
okay.
I could have answered. I could have asked,
That's
and
okay.
once we got into answering all the questions, and then it was really kind of after that I realized what he was the place that he was talking about.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is he the new owner or just?
No, he was a surveyor.
Same owner still, I guess. I'm pretty sure I haven't seen a massive amount of cattle being moved out, so.
I don't know.
Let's take a look at the word.
I don't know.
Nah.
Feed
Nah.
5,000
Well,
homes in there.
if it's a self-funded investment, then maybe you might. But I don't know.
Smells like sold out to a developer is what it smells like.
Possibly.
All right, item number 2, public comments discussion. Any items from, yes, sir?
Where the post office
What?
package went into, that came in last week, and the place reeks and actually makes the postmaster sick. A strong smell of garlic, evidently some kind of poison. They haven't picked up the package, the post office.
Permeate.
Yes. And they got another package today. I was supposed to pass on this information. Of course, she's not supposed to be passing that on to me, but we talked to each other. Yes, you walk in there, you know it right away. Oh! So, taking those plug from the post office.
But you don't know what it is? Not really.
Haven't found the package.
Something.
Do I need
something.
some?
I don't know.
Do I need it?
Do you need
Do I need
it?
some? I don't know what it is.
You can't get to it.
Well, I can order some.
Oh, you leave it in there too?
There's new products coming out all the time I'm not aware of.
It smells like garlic?
I might have fruit.
So something was being shipped and broken.
If it was bluegrass and make it rain, I'd make it fun.
What she told me was it was some type of poison. And why because she has
Yeah.
packaging and everything, but
I'm
it's
surprised.
poison to her.
I'm surprised the mail
And
order
the
ship
vampires, but we don't
mail,
want
it's
that story
poison.
anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not.
Yeah, it's probably hard.
All right, any further comments? Any other comments? Yes, sir.
Ice cream social Saturday, very not well attended as in past years at Methodist Church. They do biannual.
This
ice cream
this
social.
past Saturday?
This past Saturday.
Yeah, they didn't send me anything or put anything on that.
And Kingsbury Baptist has got Vacation Bible School going these 4 nights, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And Legacy Ranch has a lot of children with the foster care orphanage, I think, Legacy Ranch.
I don't know.
I'm not either.
It's like it's a foster care facility.
Where it's located?
It's an orphanage.
Do you know where it's located?
It's in Kingsbury. I don't know if it's in the city limits.
Wait a minute, there's an orphanage in Kingsbury?
Yeah.
It's actually. well,
It's run by a church
They
organization.
have more than one location where these children are housed, is what I understand. That's only from last
But they
year.
have some sort of foster care program, orphanage program.
Yes,
But
Most
they
of
are-
the state funded.
Yeah,
Children that are
it's
not.
state and private.
both state and private, yeah, federal funds, state funds. I don't look into the.
It's on a farm. I've seen photos of it. I don't know where it is. Or,
I remember seeing.
I've heard about it.
I remember seeing something on Facebook about it, but, and I'm trying to research, couldn't find anything. On, somewhere off of 20, I believe.
That would be, I'm aware of a
There may be
facility
reasons why
off
they're
of
not.
20.
Yeah, very social
Yeah.
facing.
No, yeah, no, they're.
I mean, there's a lot of kids there. Yeah. There's a lot of young kids, young vulnerable kids.
They're just contact.
Right, that's why you cannot trace
It's
it.
legacy.
Legacy Ranch.
Well, we are in contact, our Lions Club, we're in contact with one on the west side of the county. And, we did a service project out there recently. And they're open, I mean, but like I said, they're restrictive with how you interact with the kids and.
Who interacts with
and who interacts with them, yeah. But no, it's not hidden, for sure.
It says it's technically in Gonzales.
That's what I.
It's on
that's what they said
183.
Last year, and I could not find it in Gonzales.
Oh,
It says
I
US
bet
183.
I bet it's the,
In
there was
between,
a church
in
retreat
between
kind of
Ely and
thing.
Gonzales, I know years ago there was a home and it's still there. And I had actually applied for a job that, not right there, that's years ago.
About a mile or two past south of Bucky's on the right.
Yes.
Long driveway, yes.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
I bet that is it.
Yep, looks like
One
it.
more announcement, the Lutherans are starting a Thursday night, fellowship. We're gonna have hot dogs this week, what exactly, I don't know what they're gonna do.
That's cool.
But my little sister wants me down, oh, that's private. Yeah, my mom's house.
Any other public comments? All right. Review of public documents, area residents seeking help with ETJ annexation or other paperwork be presented. Now, I still have a few more to do there. And there is still, and it's not on this agenda, but it's still the, issue with the, survey and the plating. And I was trying to give him the information and it was pretty much we kind of put that one
To the side.
To the
because
side.
It sounded like, it appeared like we couldn't make really any big difference.
Right.
It was surveying costs more than county
right.
costs.
And so that's what I told him this past week, that it doesn't sound like there was a whole lot of savings that we could provide, that it seemed mostly on the survey side. Yeah, so.
So that would be just, it's just the survey in general, right? I mean, it really has nothing to do with us taking it over unless we had our own surveyors or something. I mean, yeah, there's no way we could really make it cheaper for anybody, could we?
Well, you know, given the cost breakdown that he had, I can't tell you exactly, it didn't give a detailed description of what each item was,
Yeah.
but most of them in the big ticket items seem to be mostly related to survey. And that's
It's
not
just amazing
something,
how expensive it was.
I know, and it was because the land was actually being divided. So I'm not sure, I don't know the requirements for when you have to have a survey and when you don't. I've bought property that had to be surveyed and I've bought property that did not have to be surveyed. So that was no, so I don't know what the actual requirements are, if it has something to do with the title or what.
Well, what that manager told me about Guadalupe County was if it was 10 acres or more, it did not have to be replatted. And I'm assuming it
But
didn't.
it's being divided.
Well, it's, even if you, theirs is too, but it's divided into 10 acre or more sections, plots, plats, so it doesn't have to be really replatted. It has to be, I don't know if it has to be surveyed or not. I think something about the plat, it has to be replatted, it has to be, it could be just penciled in, basically. So, that's why they divided it into 10 acre or more section pieces. So, I don't know. I'm sure the county could probably tell you more than we know.
Well, you had the breakdown, that's also something I reviewed with them, which was you had the cost breakdown from the county regarding the platting, and none of that was over a couple hundred bucks.
Yeah.
So it does seem like the majority of those big ticket items on his cost breakdown came from,
Art said they were using a surveyor out of San Marcos.
yes.
And they were.
Staples is using a
and-
surveyor,
and they
or
were-
an engineering company.
Well, the survey too, is what he said. I thought he said survey. The survey was done with the plat and on the plastic sheet, whatever they required out. And it was pretty reasonable, I thought.
Maybe, do they have a choice of surveyors? They don't have to go with the one that
I
checked, right?
yeah, I believe so. I
Yeah.
would believe so. Okay.
I'm so sorry, I just have a random question. What is a plat?
I'm not really sure. I think it is. I think
think it's-
it is like the little drawn map that they use for their
I think it is.
taxing purposes, but
Yeah,
I'm
from
not
the-
really sure. It's
It's the map of the property according to the meets and bounds,
And what you intend to do with it, as far as my history up north.
I don't think it has anything to do with your.
What you intend to do if you are forming a community, as Frank reflected to a little bit earlier, if that's what they're doing, they have to provide a plat to the county.
It's a problem.
Planning.
Oh, like planning a plot.
Planning a community.
Something like that.
So the survey is
Land
gonna
plot
give
is a
written
plat.
descriptions.
All right.
So the surveyors just need to get a written description and not a map, not a drawing.
Can be
No,
both.
they'll.
I think they have to have both.
Yeah. Well, if you have it surveyed, yeah.
Yeah. And then a plat is a little plastic map you put into the ground.
Yeah.
Actually uses
Start with
some
the
meets and
tree
bounds
and go
form.
this way, and that's meets and bounds description.
Was the survey, was it described by a survey?
Typically, a survey is a drawing that he takes the meets and bounds that the registered surveyor draws the area. That's what a survey is. And then a plat is usually, that's the same thing. He surveys out, the surveyor surveys and draws it all out, and then a plat is normally referred to as one that's filed with the county, like in the deed records.
That's what's-
And a plat also will, where you do a subdivision, you draw out the streets and sidewalks, and then you grant. The owner of the land files the plat and says, and all of this area, the streets, I grant to the public. And it's actually like a deed in that becomes public property. And that's how you build the subdivision.
What if I take my 500 acres and divide it into 5-acre lots, 500 lots, minus that access right of way I'm gonna grant right down the property lines, right in the middle of the property lines. So that everybody's got a street, surrounds their house completely, and they can access anybody else's street following the property line. Does that mean I designate to the public, or is that just the right of way?
Well, it depends. I mean, if you just do an
Or access.
easement, easement is oftentimes, that's generally between, different owners that are right next to one another, so that's different than a,
Public sidewalk, per se.
yeah.
Okay.
Because someone still owns that, even though it's everyone's
Correct.
use.
Yes.
Well,
And they call it a dominant estate and, some other, term for the estates when you do an easement. And if I take an easement out of my property and I grant it to my neighbor, then I'm the dominant estate because that's where it came from, but the access is given to a subordinate estate, and that's how that works. But that's different than a plat, and a plat has an acknowledgement or a grant of the common areas to the public, and that way everybody has a right to go down that street.
Not that it makes a difference.
Then who
but
owns-
you can
who
find
owns
the
that?
old platting of
No one.
Kingsbury as a city,
No one or
it's not a
everyone?
city. But
Anywhere. If I'm granting
It's in the, it's
public
in the
access on
courthouse,
this
but it's on the wrong page.
30 feet wide,
It says it is.
it goes across, say, I'm gonna say,
It exists, and I've
have
seen
rows
it.
and rows of lots.
Yeah.
Well, every 2 lots, I give them granted access, easement, whatever you wanna call it. Then go down another 2 lots, granted, the 2 lots granted. So the houses on both sides, the lots on both sides, if they're granted easement, have access. I guess that access, that easement, has to have right of way, or has to have to connect to the public street. That's why I have to have a driveway permit for that. Once,
No, and not unless you're going on to
a
a public
public,
highway.
something to a public
But
highway.
a public street in a subdivision, that depends on, the terms of the city, or, like if it's filed in Seguin, then Seguin determines who has rights of access and everything. But if it's like on my property over there where, the guy that sold it to us subdivided, and he put a road down there and then, going alongside my property, and then there's 10 tracks. Once he granted that easement and filed it in the county and said, this belongs to all of the landowners that are touching on that easement. So he loses the property, it becomes,
Y'all's.
yeah, it's ours.
All right, but y'all have no individual claim, it's a shared ownership with all the property owners that abut it.
Yes.
And
Everybody's gotta get to their house.
so, you don't need to dedicate that as a street, turn it over to the city or the county to maintain? You can just keep it as a private road. But now to get out to the highway, if you want to come out to the highway, you still have to have access to the highway. And that has to be granted by state or county, right? Or
Well, it's
permitted.
typically,
Yeah, what kind of
your
road
driveway
is it?
would attach to a road that would then take you.
Well,
to the-
if you want to have a road that abuts to a county road, you have to have a permitted access.
Well, yes,
For the county.
but the main thing you have to get from the highway department is the safety easement, but they
Yeah.
call it a safety easement, but all it is, making sure that there's, drainage,
Yeah.
what do you call it, the culvert, there's gotta be a culvert, and it's gotta be adhered to the highway department specification.
And visible,
So-
so many distance from another culvert.
I'm starting to drag this out, but I'm looking for information. So, I have an easement, and the county requires me to purchase their permit, their inspection, to tie into a county road, to gain access to the county road. Alright, so I've got my easement, I've got access to the county road, I paid them a permit, they came and inspected it and said, good enough. Now, the easement goes all the way across, and on every 500 feet, I make a lot on both sides of that easement. All right, I'm gonna sell those lots, subdivision. And I'm now devoid of all ownership. It's completely gone. It's no longer mine. It belongs to those 10 lot owners, and the easement is theirs too. But they've got a driveway. Now, when they're gonna do that, we'll say Clint Adams, or somebody's gonna do that 50 times, all the way down Gander Slough, down Jones Road, and down Prairie League Road. Same kind of progress. Give a right of way, or a easement, driveway permit, access to county road, and branch off those easements and put lots and sell them all. Well, like they were building a subdivision between Geronimo and Seguin, and they contacted the county. They wanted to have the road in their subdivision turned over to county maintenance or county, and the county had to vote to approve to accept that. But first, they had to make sure that they met county construction standards for the road. And when they did, the county says, okay, we'll take that as a road that we maintain. It now becomes a county road. Why?
Well, the only way that would happen is if he platted it and filed it and it's approved by the commissioners. A plat has to be approved by the commissioners.
And I would think
Once that-
also if the county wants it, right, they don't have, exactly.
And then it belongs to the county.
But why
The
does
roads do.
Why
So
would the
because-
county take it?
Well, why would they? They don't necessarily have to.
Well, why would they? I'm asking, why would they?
Well, I don't think that they haven't taken my road.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, and I tell you the reason, and I tell you what the county told me for my road was the fact that you've got, your neighbors haven't all paid their taxes. They're not current on all their taxes.
That has,
I'm just telling you what I was told.
Yeah, the county
County.
doesn't necessarily have to take anything.
County
They can
doesn't have
just
to
be
take
behind
anything.
it.
I just
Yeah.
want a developer in Kingsbury who's in her little strip of city on his property, and the strip of my city, the strip of my yard says that my house and my family and everything else on the property is in Kingsbury as far as the voting. Anyways, but I'm in Kingsbury. I do a little strip, but I'm all in Kingsbury. Well, if somebody else in Kingsbury has thousands of acres and they sell it to a developer, well now, is he in Kingsbury? Is it just that strip that's in Kingsbury and the rest of it's in Kingsbury's ETJ? Or,
Well, the access to your property is in city limits, so that's why
okay.
it's considered. Now, we don't get franchise fees
No,
from your house.
I'm looking for road construction, road
Okay.
maintenance. If,
That's what
so,
we're-
yeah, well, that's what I'm getting
Okay.
to, because
Okay.
if he's, I know north of Lockhart, there's subdivisions went, and they opt out, they requested to be removed from Lockhart's ETJ, because they don't want Lockhart messing up their deal with the county to maintain the roads in their subdivision. So, I said, can we do the same thing? Can we say, well, we're not gonna maintain the road, the city of Kingsbury is not gonna maintain the roads. Those are private roads, y'all maintain them. No, we're gonna ask the county to do it. Well, can the county go across our city to jump into there and do the roads?
That's a good question.
But so you just vote, city commission votes, no, we're not going to accept that plat. We're not going to accept it as Kingsbury, responsibility. And that keeps it a private road.
So-
That's why the county commissioners vote to accept the plat, because they can either decline, they say, no, I'm not gonna take over operation of that, leave it as a private roads in the subdivision.
But we don't have anything that says we are taking any
We don't have any.
responsibility on platting.
No,
So-
we don't have that.
So we just turn it over to the county, so the county can treat it like it's their own.
Or not. Or they can just
Or
be
not,
like,
but
see ya,
then-
dirt roads for you forever.
Haven't seen that right up here. Okay, I'm just looking for a way out. Looking for really a different way for the county to maintain our roads, because we're still paying county taxes for road maintenance like we always did. And they've been pretty good, All of a sudden, we're a city, we're responsible for the whole thing. And that doesn't make, no, not?
Not your road, no.
No, I know. We're not responsible for that. If we took somebody on the other side, then all of a sudden, yes, we, at least for that strip.
For that little piece.
Okay, but it went all the way down. It's the same county road that's been there since it's been there. We're paying taxes, county taxes, to maintain that road. And it's been maintained fairly well. And now all of a sudden, because we're a city,
Well, even if you live, I don't think anybody gets around paying for, road.
I'm not trying to get around.
I mean, even if you live in Sharps. I
You
don't
pay
think-
Guadalupe County taxes.
Right, you pay Guadalupe
Yes.
County taxes.
Exactly.
So,
So, so,
they don't distinguish between
No idea.
if you live on a county maintained road or not, you just pay Guadalupe County taxes.
we do.
Right,
But they don't distinguish whether you live on a county road or not.
No.
You pay the same county
Right,
taxes
everybody.
for maintenance. Yes, but if that road is within your city limits, you're responsible to maintain it, not the county. Correct?
correct,
Why?
because it's not in the county, it's in city
I'm still paying the
limits.
county taxes to maintain the road.
Oh, you're talking about,
Well, you also pay county taxes to the county to maintain all the other county roads.
Yes, I understand
I mean,
that.
so, I mean,
I know. I understand that.
it's just
So
like,
you
why
can
we all
just
pay into public
pay-
education. I mean, we all pay into public education, whether we have kids in it or not, with the idea that we hopefully have non-stupid kids, but, you know, that doesn't always happen.
Sorry, are you saying that, before the town was incorporated, you paid X amount to keep up your road, and then after the town was incorporated, that amount went
no,
higher?
that amount.
Stay the same.
Okay.
It stays the same. But if we incorporate the property on both sides of the road, all of a sudden, somebody has determined that that now is a city road, not a county road. And the city's responsible for maintaining it. And the only thing that changed was whether this is in unincorporated county or if it's in Kingsbury city limits. The taxes on it stay the same. The usage stays the same. Everything stays the same except who lives, you know, where is that small designation as being inside the city. And this was killing Santa Clara, New Berlin.
Well, it's not really anything, I mean, that's a county commissioner's problem, I guess. I don't think, there's nothing we can do about it.
No, not yet, but we have to get what you asked for. But I mean, if a subdivider, an investor can build a huge subdivision and build the roads to county specifications, construction, and then ask the county to take over the maintenance of the roads in forever, so I can sell all these houses and they don't have to worry about their roads now, because it's a public and it ties in, it's just part of the city.
Then you're saying, why can't Kingsbury do that?
Why does the county take it over?
Yeah.
If they can take that over, why can't they keep maintaining the ones they've been maintaining for the last 40 years?
That's something that can be discussed amongst the commission in the development phase of, you know, between the city and the commission.
Well, that's what Staples has been trying, because that development that they've been
Dealing with.
dealing with is going to cost the city a lot.
See, it should, I mean, to my way of
Shouldn't.
thinking, it shouldn't cost the city anything. If you want to move out here and build a house or buy a house and live out here, welcome. It's nice out here. I said, but now because you're here and you don't have enough water, I can't fix that for you. The city can't fix it for you. We're not responsible to fix it for you. Are we? Do you feel responsible to fix it for them? I don't.
No?
I don't feel responsible to fix your water, your electric, your sewer, or your roads.
They're
But there's not much I feel
the people
responsible
that you
for.
pay for all of that, that's.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah, for all
we're
this.
paying taxes for all of that. We
Right.
had to
Or-
pony up money for the 911 ambulance. I don't know. I'm just thinking ahead, real far ahead. I'm thinking ahead. I'm looking for an out. Not looking for an out. I'm looking for an answer. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to build a subdivision out here, fine, pay for it. Don't ask the county to pay for it, because that's my tax money. I want to maintain the county.
Well, we don't have any, no say.
Well, I can vote. I have one vote. So
Yeah,
right now, that's all I can. Okay,
right?
I'm through. Thank you.
That was
and thank you.
informative.
Thank you.
Oh, she asked the question.
Yeah.
What is a plat?
The only plats I know of are in here, right? Right. So,
A plat is basically a surveyor's map, but it's not the survey map, it's the plat, and it's governmental use zone.
It's stamped and registered by the county.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does that mean a plat is a survey, but a survey is not necessarily a plat?
A plat's a survey that's filed with the county.
A certified survey.
See,
Yes.
With the county. It's gotta be filed with the county.
Registered.
It's gotta be filed with the county, right?
Yeah, the important thing is if you're going to discuss a plat, there's lots of different kinds of plat. You have to define what you're doing, so I don't want to get into all that.
So maybe there needs to be some research done on your site there, buddy.
I'm up to here now.
Yeah, well, we've got a very long
Yeah, 'cause
meeting, so. We got a long agenda, there's a PowerPoint in the meeting here, let's.
How you go?
All right. Item number 4, old business consent agenda item. This includes the approval of the June 17th, 2024 regular commission meeting minutes. Any updates or changes there that need to move the minutes to the regular agenda? All right. Stand approved. Item number 5, discuss and consider authorization to issue an RFP and RFQ for grant management of the TCDG program for 2025-2026. This is something-
And Michael Sledge from Grantworks just tried to call. He wanted to be here. Hey, your agenda items just came up, so here you are on the phone.
Okay. First, I need to apologize to everybody about today. For some reason, when I changed my calendar over, the calendar's for you guys in July, and when I moved everything over, I didn't move the right date over. So I seriously apologize because I had planned to be there. I wanted to be there.
We're okay.
Well, we're okay, yeah.
It went through my head to check with you if you were coming, and then I just didn't do it. So here we are. Okay, so I feel like we talked through this before, as far as
What's
getting.
needed.
We talked through it in the workshop, like
Yeah.
a brief summary for our meeting here.
Okay, so we have these two grants. The first one on the agenda here is the Community Development Grant Program for 2025-26. We can't even begin to apply for this, for any project before we
Make our RFP.
do this RFP, RFQ, let people apply to administer this grant for us. So, how do y'all feel? Do you want to allow for people to apply for that?
Yes. Do we need to write an RFP and an RFQ, for GrantWorks and other, we probably need to send it to 3 people, right, normally?
And they have offered to send us some.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Some, yes, sample.
So today, what the council is really doing is the authorization part, and once you authorize, GrantWorks will guys and give you the templates and walk you through the process
Great.
for preparing the RFP and RFQ packages.
Great.
Yeah. So today you just authorize to move forward. That's all they do.
All right, we're doing separate authorization for the Irontown?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna do authorization for GrantWorks, send the templates?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we can write an RFP and an RFQ.
Excuse me, council, so you guys gotta be very generic about it, not GrantWorks.
Okay,
What
I'm
you
sorry.
really want to do is just to move forward with the authorization.
Yeah.
Right,
Yes,
so
sir.
this is
So-
consider and approve authorization to issue requests for proposal for administrative services, RFP, and requests for qualifications for engineering services, RFQ, for grant pre-application phase 1, application phase 2, and implementation services for Texas Community Development Grant Program for 2025-2026, Community Development Fund, and all eligible activities per the application guidance as administered by the Texas Department of Agriculture. So yeah, nothing about Grant Works in there. It's
Okay.
just the
Great.
Right.
authorization.
Okay.
So
Do we need to vote on this?
Yes,
Okay,
it
yeah.
requires a vote for approval and or action.
I propose that we, vote to authorize, an RFP and an RFK to be issued for this purpose.
I second that.
All right, a motion has been made and seconded to approve authorization to issue an RFP and RFQ for grant management of this TCDG program. Any other discussions or comments? All right, all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, so that motion carries.
Okay, and then this next, consider and approve authorization to issue request for proposals, RFP, for administrative and plan development services for the community oh wait, no.
Yeah.
It is on both of them.
Yeah, we're on item number 6, is that?
Yeah,
Oh,
item number
yeah,
6.
for the
Okay.
community development block grant mitigation, CDBG, MIT, Resilient Communities Program, RCP, grant program administered by the Texas General Land Office. So this is the one that would, get us money to help, write the strategic plan.
Great.
Okay.
But again, this is just authorization to.
Right.
To do it.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
get some applications in.
Well, I would also like to make a motion that we approve the authorization to issue an RFP and RFQ for grant management of the TCDG program for 2025-26.
I second that motion.
All right, so that motion has been made and seconded to authorize the RFP and RFQ. Any further discussion or comments on this? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, that motion carries.
All
Great.
right.
So,
So Michael, I'll get with you about getting those templates and stuff.
So what I will do is I will send an email to Kathy at Grant Works saying that the council has authorized moving forward with, CDBG and the RCP, Indigenous Communities Program. And what will happen is Jeff, I'm gonna give you your name as the contact, along with your phone number and email.
Sounds great.
And just so you know, I'm here anytime you need anything, just pick up the phone and call me. We look forward to working with you guys, and I'm excited about this.
Great.
Yeah,
We're
that's
excited too.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you very much. Y'all have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
it's good to make progress, good to,
Yes.
good to get some steps going.
Authorize people to get money for us.
Yeah.
I like that. I'll give us some money.
Item number 7, discuss and consider Kingsbury Development Committee presentation. Anything from Katie's
Connect to the equipment.
Should we all move?
Yeah, you'll want to. Had a PowerPoint coming
We'll see if I can still see. Yeah.
I did test this earlier today and it did work. Here it's coming.
Yeah, it's gonna warm up.
Turn off this light.
Yeah.
Movie time. It stopped being finished after a minute as well. What?
Gracias.
All right. Hello, good evening. Thank you for your time this evening. My name is Elena Rodriguez, and I am the owner and operator of Indio Springs Ranch, as well as the volunteer with the Kingsbury Development Committee. During my short tenure of volunteering with the committee, I guess it's been almost 9 months, I've taken some time to think about how to better serve this body and how the body can have some really great progress in moving forward. So today's presentation, I'd like to present to you about the City of Kingsbury Strategic Plan Proposal. You may be asking yourself, what is a governmental strategic plan? And why strategic plan for a small local government? Well, I'm really glad that you asked, because when it comes to getting things done, as a local government, two major crucial components impact your ability to move forward: budgets and timelines. As you know, you're already processing into getting in some really good grants, and those are going to come with some timelines and budget constraints as well. But they're exciting times. For a city to be as efficient as possible, you'll really need an ironclad strategic plan for your local government that showcases how you will spend your local budget and how you'll meet timeframes and deliverables on public projects. Without a game plan, your local government is more likely to blow through the departmental budgets and miss deadlines for infrastructure or other public works or community need projects. Strategic plans allow your governmental offices to give serious consideration to the future before building that roadmap that will help your, to the future before building a roadmap that will help your team achieve goals that matter to your constituents. So what is a strategic plan? Strategic planning is the process by which leaders of an organization, such as local small governments, determine what it intends to do and what it intends to be in the future, and how it will get there. It involves developing a vision for the organization's future and determining the necessary goals, priorities, and action strategies to get there successfully. In the words of Yogi Berra, if you don't know where you're going, you'll likely end up someplace else. Failure to prepare is preparing to fail. Your constituents deserve a well-thought-out game plan for how their tax dollars are being spent and how their elected officials are bringing about meaningful change. A strategic plan serves as a community's roadmap and is used to prioritize its initiatives, resources, goals, and department operations and projects. The strategic plan is the big picture document, the overall global document of what we want to be. The plan does not, let me repeat, does not have to be complicated or complex. Strategic vision is in a concept of relating a company's or local government's, a city's ideal future to the strategy used today. A vision statement, which provides support for a strategic plan, typically outlines an organization's overall goals and states the purpose of the company's existence. This is where we can strive really, this is where I see Kingsbury has done really well and can continue to improve on this pillar. Yes.
Did you say you had a printed copy?
I did not get a time to print them out, so I'll be able to upload this online, and then I can see about getting some printouts later. Just time got away from me today.
No worries.
I'm sorry, can you repeat what you said? Kingsbury has, what it was doing well. Maybe she really relaxed.
So when community envisioning, that means we're
Yeah.
bringing people to the table about
Okay,
bringing
that's good.
visions. There's lots of great visions that I've witnessed since being involved with the city of Kingsbury for the past 9 months. But that community vision statements are typically crafted through that collaboration of both the community and leaders, and make sure that everyone and the shareholders, that everyone's on that same page. A well-crafted mission statement should capture in a short, concise paragraph the purpose of the organization's existence, why does City of Kingsbury exist, and what action it takes to fulfill its purpose. When it comes to local governments, and I know we think about strategic planning, many often default to the big cities with complex problems and large budgets and massive complex problems that interweave transportation, housing, and all these things. Well, those don't apply to the city of Kingsbury, so I want to be able to kind of make this not so scary for everyone. And honestly, it's a true art in strategic planning of small towns, cities, and even tribes or villages. There's a real skill and art in needling that thread. And I think there's enough folks to hear, talented folks here, to make that happen. And regardless of the city size or population, strategic planning is a continuous activity that requires discipline, flexibility, and commitment. Because these define the city's short and long-term goals, and these will change over time. This is what would be a living document, something that the city commission and council of the city would annually come together to review every year and look at its quantified data to see if it's meeting those objectives and goals that it set out. The strategic planning process enables the city of Kingsbury to set clear priorities and guide operations towards organizational goals. It involves city staff, elected officials, internal and external environments, volunteers, analyzing those factors of both internal and external, setting objectives, developing strategies, and by aligning resources and prioritizing actions and adapting to changes, strategic planning can help our government stay focused and increase the chances for greater success. Clarity of purpose and direction really are, I'm gonna go over some of the really top 5 benefits. Clarity, direction, by defining the city of Kingsbury's vision, mission, and values in a few sentences. We state why the city of Kingsbury exists and what it helps to achieve over time. Write down the beliefs and principles that inform the city's choices and behaviors. This initial step requires reflection and consultation to get really to the heart of our city. Some initiatives in order to achieve this, to find clarity and direction, I would suggest using tools like surveys, workshops, focus groups with any and all of our stakeholders. Really find the core values of our community and aspirations. Another initiative example. This also really focuses in on this kind of overlaps a little bit of government as well as business. Something else that I have a strong arm in, and that has to do with the SWOT, the SWOT analysis. When a city conducts a situational analysis, both internal and external forces that impact decision-making, it allows us to be able to identify valuable resources, capabilities, and also city culture, that we keep that culture going. This is where we can engage with resident staff and volunteers and review everyday operational procedures. Some initiatives, I'm going to move a little faster because I know everyone's short on time. Some initiatives in order to achieve this would be customer service, competitor analysis. We don't really have much in economic business here or economic development here, so that may not be a good initiative tool there, but an overall market trends to see where we lie. assess our internal and external business environments to understand our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. That's what's known as the SWOT, S-W-O-T. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats. I'd also encourage it to include a set of strategic objectives and plans, and to really utilize not only the SWOT method from step 1 and step 2, but then also to develop for accountability SMART goals. SMART, the acronym: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. SMART, S-M-A-R-T. These goals have long-term targets with a clear progression to help the city elected officials, city manager, employees, and volunteers manage their workloads. This step of strategic planning process requires communication and collaboration. We can do this through a variety of initiatives, main priorities, improvements, and long-term targets. I also encourage developing and implementing that action plan, which would be the fourth final step. This is where we get into the nitty-gritty. Strategy steps involves breaking down your objectives and goals into detailed plans and outlined steps. Example, the city wants to ensure environmental stewardship of its land and resources. Step 1, complete analysis and inventory of all resources that are important. Step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6. Now we've got, and we build from that. Overall, we're really talking about direction, informed decisions, accountability, resource management, and of course, better performance. The last part there regarding performance and tracking, I'll discuss here in a little bit, because it is one of the things that I see as a challenge for the city, as well as a challenge for most cities. All too common, small communities in general have a lack of organizational capacity in strategic planning initiatives. Organizational capacity is comprised of financial capacity, administrative capacity, and leadership capacity. So let's talk about those typically really four real challenges. Oftentimes there's no alignment. Local governments must ensure that all stakeholders are on board with the strategic plan. Unfortunately, many strategies fail to coordinate action plans across various business sectors and or stakeholders, so that's something we want to avoid. This is a pitfall that we want to avoid. Poor research, effective relies on accurate, actionable data about our customers and industry trends, risks, opportunities, and contingencies. It's very important that we have thorough research. Without it, we would have a lot of wasted time and energy. Also, there is resistance to change. Change management is part of the strategy implementation. While resisting to change is a natural response, local governments should invest in better communication and training opportunities to support their staff during implementation. And so definitely involve your employee, we definitely want to involve everyone and our volunteers and our that's working on behalf of the city in all steps of the strategy to minimize any type of misunderstandings. Lack of resources, this is something that's going to be a challenge for us. We've got, I wouldn't say a lack of resources, I think we just have creativity. We've got a lot of creative folks to find resources around at our table, so we're very lucky. We may have limited resources, but we're not lacking, that's for sure. And then, of course, I think one of the areas that can be really important for us, in particular as the city decides to take on potential grants, is going to be that success tracking. I think small governments struggle to quantify or measure strategy outcomes tangibly. So this is something that we want to work on and avoid as well. We want to ensure we have clearly defined goals and objectives before implementing any success measure framework to track our progress. And that's also that accountability back to our constituents. Some things that I think that the City of Kingsbury does really well and that I think could be improved and can only do stronger pillars as the city moves forward and grows over time and well beyond my lifetime. As I mentioned, there is an art to strategic planning, and it does take a unique and subtle, intricate character when it's applied to small towns like Kingsbury. Strategic planning for small cities, towns, even villages require the distinct approach, and I think we've got the tools and the resources here to make that happen. So I'd like to explore a few of those strategic planning suggestions, and that I think would benefit the city of the city of Kingsbury. And then I will open it up for Q&A and then leave and get out of your hair of your time. So when it comes to local governments and strategic planning, we often think again of those big cities. However, you know that's not this, and this is going to require a unique subtlety approach. And I think we've got it. And like I said, we've got the tools for it. Number one, we should embrace community envisioning and collaboration. This is something that I think the city of Kingsbury does really well, and I think it can also continue to grow upon with the support of this body. Residents in small town are invaluable contributors to a community visioning process during strategic planning. They often bring close-knit relationships, deep local knowledge, right? We've kind of done some of this already, right? Now we just got to get it all into a plan, because right now everything's scattered. Everything's placed all over the message board. Everything, I don't know where, need to get it all, let's get it all aligned. Enhance economic diversification and initiative. Do we want to see City of Kingsbury expand economically? This is a good thing. It's worth looking at. Small towns like Kingsbury often rely on a few, often one industry. Kingsbury has a few, not many. Railroad, baker, not many. Yeah, that's freeze miser, exactly. That's a baker owned, another baker extension, yeah. Another baker business, yeah. So things to think about. To enhance economic sustainability, often strategic plans for small towns explore opportunities for diversification, encourage entrepreneurship, attract new businesses, and invest in local startups, which I think the city could do really good by investing in local startups if we had folks that wanted to do something, and within the town's vision. I will tell you that as an example, one thing that I looked at, there was a really good example out of North Green, Ontario. They have a population definitely larger than Kingsbury, just over 16,000. They are crafting a secondary plan for development for the downtown core, outlining a vision for downtown's future appearance, specifying desired types of growth, and preserving its unique character. So again, they're doing similar things that we're looking to do. Again,
You have that, might be nice to look at.
yeah, I sure do. Promotion of our local culture and businesses. We've got a lot of culture in Kingsbury, and there's a lot of history here when we look back even before Civil War era, and even back in my indigenous genealogy, there's a lot of history here of my ancestors through this area. And so maybe a way to leverage the unique culture and historical aspects of our community within our strategic, as a strategic asset, and put that into our strategic plan. Investing in heritage preservation, promotion of local arts and culture. See, you're already in that direction, but here's the challenge that I have with it all, is that it's everywhere. I don't see anything coming together, and I don't see a full alignment at all. And I struggle with that. Bear with me, hold on, we'll keep going. Now, when it comes to this, there was another example, a town example that I looked at when it comes to this aspect of cultural and local business, and it was a village in Roselle, Illinois. Now, granted, they're a little bit bigger than Kingsbury, about 22,000 population. But they had an initiative to establish a business recruitment and retention plan that strategically attracts and nurtures businesses aligning with their vision of, quote, tradition meets tomorrow, end quote.
that falls right into their pillar of their strategic plan, economic, cultural development, right? Wow, pretty good. I have that too. I have that for you too. Here's another one that I think that the city of Kingsbury does really well as well with our limited multi-use facilities. We really utilize them as best we can and as often as we can, and I think that's really great. But we're also talking about expanding how a potential rec or city hall or community center or something to that effect. Something that can be, again, multi-purpose facility to be able to serve many purposes for the community at large. So it's a great way for a small town to maximize the utility of their existing, and then with the development of their looking to develop new buildings. And I know that was something that was talked about in one of the grants that's also being discussed. And so I thought, man, that fits right in there, right into that pillar. Lastly, sustainable development. And this goes right back to community involvement. This goes right back to when I first got started and heard the news about when Snowmageddon happened in 2021. And I came here in 2021 to start hearing information regarding about grants to do water or electric or something, right? And here we are, and we're still trying to get this water works or water portion, alternative water off the ground and other things for community. But that is also a sustainable development component, and I think that the small town, particularly Kingsbury, is in a great position to really maximize this. Solar charging stations, solar power for generators, we can rainwater collection for water. There's a lot here, and we've got a lot of creativity within the group to make a lot of things outstanding. And so this is one of the things that I really encourage us to as one of the pillars of our strategic plan, because we are well positioned to promote that sustainability within that strategic plan. And we may even have an easier time doing it than larger cities, only because we have a closer knit community and less bureaucracy. I've put here, I will have copies of this slide, this entire PowerPoint up on the bulletin board for everyone, and I'll also send it out for those that would like it. But these are the resources, a couple of the resources. There's some free resources regarding strategic plan templates, whether you can get it through MS Office Word templates or you can go through Form Finder, which is an online creation tool. Another really good resources is Making It Work, strategic planning in small communities, and I really like this one. I read up on the strategic planning in small communities, a manager's manual. I think that has a lot of really great information for the committee members, and really good resources, and kind of give you a better understanding as to the world that we're working in. We're volunteering in.
Gutsy.
Any questions, comments, concerns?
It's gonna be on the message board, or
I will put, the PowerPoint is awfully large, so it's gonna be on the bulletin board if I can fit it in a single folder.
you can email it.
Otherwise, I'll see about trying to make printouts of it for everybody.
Well,
And I can email it, for sure.
yeah, you can do the screenshot, or.
Yeah, I can email it for
Slide
sure.
would be great, that's all.
Sure.
Well, I'm thinking there's gonna be a lot of writing, and we're all gonna have to write a bunch of things and then get together, so it'd be kinda nice to have
All
what
of
you
it.
just said as a sort of an outline that then we can, maybe write on our own, and then at the
Yeah.
development committee meeting, come in and present what we've, maybe we can all collaborate to, because I think that's a great kind of, outline to start with, but yeah, if we could get something that we could all kind of start filling in, that'd be awesome
would be
before
great.
the next Tuesday meeting on the, whatever it is that,
Next month.
yeah.
I think that's very possible, absolutely.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Help align my thoughts here.
Okay.
You said we have these ideas, but they're scattered.
So we have a lot of ideas for vision,
Right.
for vision statements, so that's
Yes.
something that has to, and those are great ideas, we need to look at those and start kind of, because we're gonna have to create the city's vision, mission statement.
Okay.
Right.
I'm curious to see some of these templates for a strategic plan, because I guess and you know, I could have already looked one up and done that on my own, but I just don't even know, like, okay, the vision statement, the mission
Admittedly,
statement.
I am using a lot of business school,
Yeah.
business terminology.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
And
familiar
exactly
with
from-
vision statements and mission statements, but I guess I'm just kind of, what are the pages in this document? You know, what else is in it?
Sure, sure.
Is
I
what-
can, yeah.
Yeah.
I can help you with that as well. And then I also have what I began putting together in just a simple Word document, 2025 to 2027 City of Kingsbury Protection Plan. And what those 4 pillars, actually I've outlined 6 pillars and what those action steps to accomplish all of those already are. But this is based on what I know, and y'all know so much more than I do. Yes, ma'am.
So I feel like you've done this before, or you've been in these spaces before.
Yes, ma'am.
In regards to facilitating a plan and coming together and all that, how long does that usually take in your experience?
So it all depends on the size and the size of the audience, really. I can tell you that with a high-level executive administration, like at a state agency, it can take about 12 to 48 hours to work it out, and then we're pretty much through. Now, because we're doing high-level, we're not doing real
Everything's already
detail.
documented.
Now, if we're doing like operation procedures, now we're at the very bottom. Let's say of a customer service. Now it's going to take a little longer because we're going to outline all of those steps. Because at the end of the day, you want that operation or procedure manual to be left behind, so that way it's there when you leave. That other person coming in can pick it up and knows exactly what to do.
So instead of 12 or 48 hours on your watch, it's gonna be a calendar page.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Tell me if I'm on the, in your opinion, if I'm on the mark or not. The very first thing we need, we really, our purpose. What our purpose? I can't build a
What is
support column.
what is the purpose
Unless I know
of
what
the
the
City of
purpose is.
Kingsbury?
That's the
Yeah.
foundation, so what
That's
is,
the number one. That is
And
the key.
that's
That
the-
is what's known as the keystone.
that's what I want. That's what
Freedom,
I'm gonna start.
freedom, it's freedom, we're a
No,
liberty city, it's
it's
freedom.
what the people that live out here want this city to be.
I think it all goes back to freedom.
I'm
I
not-
mean, it's
I'm-
freedom from pollution, you know, from environmental.
I can give
freedom
you answers
to
too,
create.
but I'm not gonna say I have the answers for everybody. I wanna know what the consensus is out here. I'm thinking now, because I'm thinking about things differently now. I'm thinking about roads now differently. Maybe we should be paying for roads. We need their employees. But, not all of them.
Yes, sir.
I really agree, it's extremely important to find the direction of the city and of the community and how, what Kingsbury wants.
That's right.
So the question is, what is the process around determining that? How do you, what's the platform around having everyone's voice, inviting the community to share what they see, what future they see, what they want to see happen, what things we think will happen?
What do you think the best process would be?
Survey, mail-in, ballot? Just like y'all did with.
How
I think that sounds like we're not gonna get, I mean, we might get a better result by trying to get people here and at the negotiation.
No, we're having the barbecue in a couple.
Here we go. There you go.
So,
Everybody's there.
I can't hear this gentleman, please.
People, an occasion where people gather and discuss, I'd say in a very informal way that is comfortable, that everyone is happy to be there, to really engage and be, and want to really think about the future. It's everything when you're a kid and someone asks you in class to draw your castle. You're gonna design the future. You want to create an environment where everyone's excited about that. And that, I think it's very personal. Much more than a survey or an email or a questionnaire or a form.
Well,
I agree.
luckily, we do have an opportunity in 2 weeks where we're having a barbecue where like pretty much everybody from Skeen and Kingsbury and Luling all come through and everybody commiserates in this very space.
I think it's the perfect place, the perfect situation to let people become aware that we are looking for input on what this city is, what we want it to be, what we would like it to be. But at this introduction that we're doing this, we're trying to find this out. I think we do a comfortable place where you casually sit around but for the purpose of discussing this, I want to say a workshop, but to get the general population into this workshop to comfortably discuss what we would like this city to be in the next 10, 20, 30 years, or next month even. That's a little different. I'm trying to think what's comfortable and what's casual and what's, if we had a big fire out on Gander Slough, we'd draw some of the people out there, but most of them would stay at home. They would just stay at home, or they'd be, well, I've got to go to work, or I've got to go to HEB now. I'll be back, Yes, sir.
But I think the most important thing is to create a platform that invites that. So we're doing the due diligence for them afterwards. Because what I've seen, and I see this in, even in my job and other communities, is if people aren't, they can choose to be involved or not.
Yeah.
If they weren't given the option, then that's where the conflict comes afterwards. And they're like, well, I wasn't given the space to do that. So I think that's very, very, very important. If you create an environment that is welcoming and actually attractive to everyone, that's a way. And if it's a little informal, then the challenge is how you collect that information in a concise way that then is the backbone of the direction that the city wants.
I have an idea. Okay, so I'm thinking little boxes, like ballot boxes that we could put on each table. We can have one of those, have you guys seen those plastic things that they have in the restaurants where they're like, look at our deals, and this is what you can, we have something like, fill out this survey, and we can have some little papers next to it, and then just stick it in a box.
Yeah.
And then we can all get together and read what the heck they say.
What would you like to see Kingsbury become in the next 10 years?
What does Kingsbury do? What do you want it to be in 10 years? 10 years?
I think also important, since we do have the barbecue coming up and the next development committee, I've told, some people, I was like, come down, we're talking about the city's future. You guys need to be here on that Tuesday if you want to have a say. So I think also letting them know about maybe the August meeting, see if we get some new voices in here, because we're probably, I'm assuming, we can all write stuff at home, but what's really going to happen is at that development meeting, we're all going to come in and we're going to have to hash it out and talk about it and see what gets down on paper.
Our next development meeting is
Tuesday before the next meeting, which would be August 6th.
August.
Yeah, the city commission's on the 3rd. Oh, no. The city commission is on the 3rd Monday, which is the 19th, so it would be on the 13th.
August 13th. That's at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it's
Right
gonna
when
be
you're
here.
hungry.
It's going to be here.
Yes. Because we like making plans when we're
And we will provide food if they RSVP that they're coming.
hungry. Ooh, all right.
Feed them, they will come.
They will.
They will.
We know this.
Okay.
We come for food. We appear for food.
Is it 6:30?
6.
6.
Tell you got a great big positive environment of meeting at work because they have work.
Ah, yes. MEAT, right?
Okay.
Very nice. Thank
And
you,
we'll try
Alana.
to-
That was
We'll
awesome.
try to find out what the people that live out here want the city to be, and how they want it to be. And what is your name, sir?
My name is Sebastian.
Sebastian? Do you live out here? I didn't know.
I do. I live out.
Okay. You gonna be here for 10 years from now? Maybe. One day, what's the city be like now?
How is the division of the city should be like now?
Yeah, tomorrow, or next week. Let's see.
I've been here for 6 months, so I don't know.
you like, what do you don't like? What would you change?
I haven't found anything I don't like yet.
Yay! Woo!
So you don't get out much.
Don't get out much.
No, it's okay.
I mean, no, part of it comes with the condition, that comes with time. So, I wouldn't be able to say, but I think what I appreciate is there's a light touch, there's a balance here that's, I feel, created by you guys. Certainly, it doesn't feel, as a city commission, it doesn't feel tight. Formal or, it's more community, grassroots. There's history, there's relationships. That's actually golden.
I would like to acknowledge what my neighbor said a minute ago, or a few minutes ago. Everybody's invited to the commission meeting. We haven't been holding anybody back.
Nope. Well, now, thanks to the Facebook, there's probably a ton of people watching us right now. I just spoke to somebody who was like, I'm gonna watch on Facebook, so at least hopefully you guys are watching out there.
While we're thinking of that.
Come to the next meeting and have a
If
say.
you're watching on Facebook live, or if you're watching this at a later date, pre-recorded, there's a comment section. You can enter a comment. If you want to tell us what you think Kingsbury should be like now, 5 years from now, what you would like your community to be looking like, type it in. Keyboard's right there, or your keypad. Type. We're not going to answer. I promise you, we probably will never answer a comment back. Live. But I promise you, if you type any kind of comment, regardless of whatever it is, I will read it.
I will too.
read it.
Jamie Castaneda says, I have been here 20 years plus, would love to have city water. Well, water causes many problems.
That, thank you.
He ain't lying.
This address is 1060 FM 1104, right? 1050, 1060?
11:06.
1050 is down,
Okay.
The fire station. Right here it is.
oh, our address?
1060.
Oh, this address is 1060.
Yes. Okay.
I thought
She
you
also asked, where is it? I usually put
Corner.
in the description the address, but I didn't this time because
Oh, where the meeting is, in the fire station.
Well, where's the fire station? Basically, the corner of 90 and 1104.
I'm sorry, I'm speaking out too much. Thank you, Shirley.
I don't know if y'all decided
No.
whether or not to do any survey things for the actual barbecue. But I can print as much stuff as y'all need.
That'd be great.
So just in case.
What do you want to print?
If we want
Well,
to
if
keep it.
we're doing a
If we're
survey.
doing flowers or flyers or
Yeah.
whatever,
Anything like that.
I gotta think about it because it's right around the corner. I gotta see what
Right,
we
it's
have.
right around the
I'll
corner.
follow up with
So I'm saying, like, if y'all were like, these are the questions that we wanted to ask, and this is how many questions we needed, like, paper wise, I can make that happen. I just need to know before, because it's in 2 weeks.
Whatever,
Yeah.
whatever it is, that you would also tell them that our development committee meeting to discuss what Kingsbury should be now and in the future. August 13th at 6 o'clock here.
Yeah, I'll bring that with you.
Okay, thanks.
Just, yeah, please, the notification that the meeting is here then.
I guess I am kind of wondering, like 2 weeks, I feel like we've only very broadly talked about creating a strategic plan or whatever, so I really just don't know what the questions would be yet,
Well, see,
you
that's
know?
what I'm
Right,
I don't want to stop anybody from doing anything they can. I'm leery about asking questions. Do you want this? Do you want A, B, or C? No. You
No,
know.
we need to put something together to that we agree on and publish for public consumption as to what that survey is going to be. And it's not, and we need to get a consensus on it. It can be done. It's not gonna be done tonight, okay?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's helpful to frame that it's
they like because it is in the country, so to speak. It's not in a city. They don't have their neighbors looking in their windows, front, back, and behind. They can raise chickens and goats if they want to. Their kids can shoot their 22s. They can ride their bikes and chase their dogs and all that kind. They can have a big garden, and yeah, they like it like that. That's what they like. Yeah. And where they want it to stay that way, how they want to differ, change.
I don't know that I'm so interested in, I think I'm a new person. I've only been here for 5 years. So like 1 year or 2 years, newer people, not so much interested in that. For me, it's more like the people that have been here forever. Like, what do y'all want the space to be? And then also the kids that lived here.
The only,
Like, how can we make this a place for the kids to want to come back?
you don't know what I'm too sure.
Okay, let me ask you where you live.
I live in Kingsbury.
I mean, whereabouts, I mean,
I live down the street that way.
okay. You're what we call the town people.
I believe it.
You know, yeah.
And it is truly two different parts of this community. There's the town people, which are still pretty country, and then there's the country people, which are pretty country. And there's a lot in common shared, but it's two different areas. We visited y'all this weekend, and that was like, it's a whole different world over here. It's kind of nice. You got your neighbors, you talk to them all the time, and you see them and you visit, and the yard's different, their yard's different, and it's interesting, it's nice, and really it's kind of appealing, except I couldn't live that close to somebody again. I could not, I can't.
How far is your closest neighbor?
Well, across the street is about 3/4 of a mile,
Good for
and to
you.
the side is like a mile or more.
That's awesome.
So, and behind me, 8 miles.
I think I'm like half. I think my closest neighbor is maybe an eighth of a mile. And then I've got a half a mile on either side.
Yeah.
But nonetheless,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a new person.
You're not.
Well, I feel like my opinion really doesn't matter, but y'all's.
Well, I'd like to say something back to like what I was shouting out
Yes.
During Elena's presentation. You guys remember we all got together here for freedom,
I know.
and by freedom we mean individual freedoms, but together, which means, as I always say, freedom ain't free unless everybody's free. So if my freedom's infringing on your freedom, that's not freedom.
That's right.
Which goes to environmental. If I'm polluting my water and you're having to deal with it, that's not freedom. But I think, back to when we had all kinds of people come in with their vision of what they wanted out of Kingsbury, and it was to be left alone. And that's, so how do we get that but also creating, like, we don't want, a big development coming in and sucking up all the water. That's not freedom either.
But we have a lot more people out here now than we did 10 years ago, and they may not feel the same way about where they live as we did. I would like to convince them that this is where we're right, but it's that if they say no, that's totally wrong, and say, okay, well, there's my fence lines, don't cross it.
Not that it makes a difference, but, I believe it's, I make it a
Everything
well-known
makes a
fact. I've been here 40 years. Surely it's been here longer than I.
5 generations, right? Isn't it 5 generations?
I'm sorry, you can only claim your own lifespan.
I don't know, you
Right.
can play your
Claim your own
ancestors.
lifespan. I have lived in many situations, Northwest, Central North, 80 miles from Chicago, seriously, but on a farm.
Yeah.
Corpus Christi, big city, not big now, but no, big anyway. Seattle, Washington was the Northwest. I have been very close to people, very far away. But 40 years is the longest I've been. Wait, I'm not that old. I've been in one place, could call one place a residence. 20 years and 20 years, actually, here in Kingsbury, 20 just out, 20 downtown. I grew up going back and forth between large populace, no populous, urban, suburban.
And yet you chose to stay here. I guess
You're
you-
holding me, Frank. I think we need to get back to the mayor. Thank you for letting me speak.
All right, are we ready to move on to item number 8? All right. Item number 8, discuss and consider update on plans for Kingsbury Municipal Waste Transfer Station. This was, I believe, Elena, you attended like the county meeting. One of the things that the county comes up with is that we have a population of 130.
What?
Yeah, and they
Like
continue.
130 people?
Yeah, and they continue to use that
With the
number.
census.
No, I know, they continue to use that number. It is, it fits their purposes. It fits their purposes anyway. So I believe, a big part of it was like, there's only 130 people in Kingsbury. Why, why are we?
Well, they had more questions, more concerns, logistic, strategic concerns about the city of Kingsbury operating on the county property. They had concerns and they had questions about scheduling, if it really is gonna be all volunteer, and they even.
It worked out with with Republic.
And so they had questions regarding the insurance, the electricity, and various, those are questions that I could not answer because I don't have access to that information. And they were, now granted, they did it on the spot. I didn't correct them of their pull up on the online of the census number of 138 for the city of Kingsbury.
Right.
But they did have legitimate questions about city of Kingsbury's ability to operate, and wanted that information from the city, and we're just gonna table that, topic until they could reach you or the other rep, which I'm assuming was Udo, but that is no longer, the situation. So I don't think they've spoken to anyone,
Well, there
since then.
are, the word I got from Planning is that there's an individual that does not want this to happen.
Exactly.
That's also right.
I think so.
How
many people are actually incorporated into the city limits of
It's
Kingsbury?
like 475, something like that.
But the collection station covered, it served a lot more people. But the collection station here served a lot more people than just the residents of Kingsbury.
Right, it also has the county.
Yes.
That's why the county
And,
oversaw
and
it.
the county continues to bring up, trash, and household trash, and people can
Right.
get their own trash. The big thing for me that I continue to bring up to them when this comes up is the recycling
Yeah.
part of it. That is the
And
big
bulk trash
thing.
and big things that
Yeah.
farmers need
So I
to.
did ask about that.
Good.
That was one of the things I did ask, and they were very blunt.
Yeah.
And the judge was very blunt, and he said, for every contract that I hire for someone to do recycling, you know what happens to that recycling? It eventually ends up in the landfill.
No,
It goes to the dump.
not eventually,
It just
Yeah.
goes
It's-
to the
it's
dump.
just taken.
It's taken directly to the dump. And so there's not legit recycling. So even that wouldn't serve our purposes if we really want, there never really was a recycling.
But the other thing is like, I mean, we all know when you're a farmer or rancher, there's always some big weird thing you gotta throw out. You're not gonna be able to throw it out with Waste Connections, I mean, the dump was great because there's always some, they're gonna consider it construction trash. We're farmers, that's not construction trash, that's just some large
But
thing.
if we'd been doing it, our plan was not to handle large bulky items, it was just basically household trash, right? Because we were using the same dump pretty much everybody else is.
So I think I was working through Commissioner Seidenberger, who are they still in office or is Commissioner Todd? He's still in until November? January till January. So I will get back with him. I haven't touched base with him on this topic, since, in the past 3-4 weeks. So I can get back in touch with him and I mean, these are things we can still iron out.
Yeah.
If we still want to do this.
I thought Udo had presented his entire
He did.
business plan to the county.
Well, you've got to probably keep at it.
But he did at one time to the commissioner's court.
I don't know
for business
exactly what
plan.
he presented.
I had the impression that he had presented his entire
My
business plan.
understanding from Commissioner Seidenberger was that he spoke with Udo.
He has.
And that was pretty much it. That was only indication that I got.
He
That
said
he
there
did
was
not
no
receive any kind of
plan.
paperwork, documentation, plan, data, anything other than just a promise.
Yeah, okay. So that is something, let me see what I can get from Udo, regarding all, because he did a lot of research and a lot of footwork on this, so let me get back with Udo on that and see
He
what he
also-
has, and he had lined up people and talked to people.
But he also said the same thing about the recycling, that it's not, it's too expensive,
Right.
which is crazy.
Cardboard only, and you had to warehouse a huge, you had a full load to make it cost effective.
Yeah.
One thing we could do, if we get the other, the art space up, is, there are ways you can turn plastic into, 3D printing stuff, we could do something like that, but I don't know how big of a scale, it's not gonna, I don't know, with the recycling, I think any recycling we're gonna get done with
At the,
direct.
at the, what do you call it? I was trying to call it way station, but, not,
Collection,
no, not way as in way, but like on your way. Stop, the rest stop.
Okay.
Okay. If you go to, no, the rest stop.
The rest area.
Not way as in how much you weigh, but way as in on your way. The truck, the rest stop. If you go to the rest stop, it has a lot of, these boards were made from recycled plastic. This
Yeah, how do we
reflective
get
paint
that?
is
How do
made
we-
from glass. So there's a lot of, apparently there is some.
But getting it there,
county.
yeah.
Right, it's not from the county.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that rest area exists with all that stuff because of the weigh station, the income generated to the county by.
Yeah,
the
but
weigh-
that rest
station is operated by TxDOT.
Yeah.
So is,
So we,
back up a little bit here.
well, I don't know that we need to back up here.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
we're
let's
talking.
let's just continue
It goes
on.
back to your strategic plan and money and timeline.
Correct.
Okay.
The weigh station, that used to be the location of the rest area.
Right.
Yes.
For that fancy rest area.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Yes.
Simplified.
So
Yeah.
I will get back with, I'll get with Udo and get back with Commissioner Seidenberger, and we'll continue there. And also Commissioner German, he's the one, out of Marion, they were interested in doing
Yes.
something similar, so that may be another
yeah.
proponent.
Yeah.
In my vision, it is the local, the household waste is what people were so upset about, is the ability to get rid of their household waste.
Yeah. Item number 9, discuss and consider plans for coronavirus local fiscal recovery fund. This is in yours. This is,
Well, it looks
we
like
had a
you put a
great
bunch of.
workshop, I love that workshop, by the way, that was.
Oh, the last one? Yeah. Yay!
All right.
It's fun. Well, I think that with the dates that you put on here, Jessica, December 31st, 2024, I think we just really should kind of keep that as our, I'd really like to figure out our strategic plan before that, because we need to get to come up with a strategic plan and then turn around and write Clifford from that, because then we can tell them what part of the strategic plan we're paying for. So I think, given the December 31st deadline, let's really try to, I know fall harvest is in November, but maybe right after fall harvest, we make sure we get the strategic plan. I would love to see we get it done by the end of November. Just to give us a month to figure it out.
If I understand correctly, the money needs to be obligated by December 31st, so that means we need to have sort of know
Yeah, it's-
who we're gonna pay
Right.
and
I think
you know.
April 2025.
Okay, so we gotta get some-
is when-
Well,
We have one person who respond to that at the state level, or?
so we have to figure out.
It
who
was
we're-
federal.
I thought it was
Yeah,
state
like we need
mandated.
to know
It's
who the
a-
contractors are gonna be, kind
Yeah, you know, it is state, yeah, you're right, it is.
We really have to get that done
One
by
person, just an office.
October then, I'd say,
Well, think
Strategic
about it.
plan?
at least.
We need to clarify what we really, I would be more comfortable if we really clarified what we have to do by what time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were just saying, I mean, if we have to obligate, if by December 31st we have to
I would
figure out who
like-
we're paying, then we really gotta get a plan
I
done
would
by
like to
October.
double verify what we have to do. What was necessary. And we're kinda like.
Yeah, we have these dates in our head, but then we're, yeah,
But there's a state office, Shirley has, I guess, the information
yeah.
of who.
Well,
is.
I think she had moved on, but yes, we have the
Yeah.
office information. Okay, so,
So should I drop this off the agenda next month, or should I just keep Clifford?
It takes 5 minutes to feel like, yep, we're not there. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
Gotta
we might
make
as well
someone
touch
that-
on it since it's really coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody to make the contact and say, find out what we really have to have done, by
Yeah.
what time, what date.
Yeah, I mean, my impression from looking this up to make sure I was putting the right dates on this was that by obligated, they meant like you've made a contract with some contractors, you know?
Like,
yeah.
make for sure no obligation means if that is,
All right, I can look at it again.
well, I don't, I'm sorry.
Okay, item number 10, discuss and consider resolution regarding partnership between the City of Kingsbury and local arts nonprofit Habitable Spaces for the Our Town grant.
Well, yes, I am sponsoring this, but I have two lovely habitable people down there at the back. Nicole is a new director for us, so welcome, Nicole. And I will let those beautiful people give the presentation if they can.
I told them what to say, see. Yeah, we wanna partner with you guys. Help you out.
Okay, so there's a church somewhere around here. It's a historical church, an African American church. It was built by some of the people who were first brought over here as slaves. And they're not doing anything with the property. They want to do something with it, but they have no idea as to where to start. What they would prefer is for it to be a community center. They would like for it to be a place where children can go to, have good summers, good weekends, have something to remember to come back to Kingsbury for when they're older, have a reason to bring their kids back here, and maybe just stay here in the first place. Also, community history. I know that with the Our Town grant, they're very much into, I don't want to say indigenous, but
They're local culture.
Local
I mean,
culture.
cultural.
now I know that the church specifically doesn't have anything to do with indigenous culture or South American or Mexican culture.
No, but
It's
Texas
culture.
Thank you.
This is culture.
It's very historical, yeah.
Thank you very much. So what the owner of that property is saying is, essentially, he will let us do whatever it is that we want to do with it, as long as his aspirations for the property are met, and that is a community space for children to come.
So it'll be written in the strategic plan? No.
Collect. And so that's it. There's an opportunity for us to work
Can I
with,
ask,
yes.
about the church? Is there any opportunity to save,
gonna have to be
salvage,
Lisa.
rehab?
Yes, the building itself, the one building that they're referring to, Shiloh, seems to be salvageable.
We'll have to, this was just based on the one in front of the hall.
Also, there's a Texas historical marker.
That is another one of his
And I have a contact at Texas Historical Commission if you want.
That is one of his prerequisites. He's like,
Oh,
if you
okay.
want
Oh, I
to
got
stay,
you. I got you.
You gotta do that.
I got you.
Yeah, so that's that. I don't know what else to say.
What do we get, what do we get, right? What do we get from?
So is it gonna be
Oh,
leased?
so for us, I understand that there is a need for, maybe, a well, a community well.
No, I'm talking about the property itself.
What about it?
The church is keeping the church.
They want it. It's not the church's property. It belongs
association or a person? No, she's saying person, y'all are saying association.
No, he's a descendant of the person who originally purchased the
And
land.
he's also part of an association.
Yeah.
But who owns the property? Is it a
That I
person,
can't say at
individual,
this
or an
time.
association?
I can't
In
say at this time.
the agreement, it's the association.
Okay, so again, all right, they're getting their church, but we're rebuilding it.
It's not that they're getting a church, they already have
They're
a
keeping
church.
their church.
They have an established church.
They're keeping a historical location.
They want
and
to be a historical location.
at our expense for us to use as a community.
Yes, sir.
What do we get to use? What is there for us to use?
It's a large property. You can do your water runoff off the roof. You can, with their consent, which he's giving full consent is what I understand. You have
Well,
to
we-
work the details out much later. But yes, it sounds like a very good thing.
I mean, yeah, details are important, and this
Very.
is based on one phone call, so we'll have to sit down and meet with him and
Very.
really
But I think
see
it's,
what.
I think it's worth
Yeah.
following up
Absolutely.
again and again.
It's an amazing opportunity, and I mean, we all know, like, the piece of land, the church is so beautiful. It would be an amazing opportunity for Kingsbury to be able to do this. I think it would be a great thing for our history. I think it would be a great gathering space for Kingsbury. It would be incredible. So, yeah,
Yeah.
let's.
It's, and when I look at it, it's not, I mean, I guess, other people would consider it, an eyesore. I mean, but for me, I don't consider it an eyesore. I just consider it it's just sad to me that it has gotten into this condition, that it's, yes, it was a beautiful church. And to have it degrade the way it has that breaks my heart. And it's not an eyesore to me. It's something I so much want to see come back. I really do. And I just see history there. I see history. I see people that I knew that attended that. It's very important to me to have that. For it to be a useful again and be what it once was.
Well, that's on the right track. Now we gotta work out the details.
Yeah, well,
Well, so this resolution that I've presented to you, and to be perfectly honest, I didn't know how to write a resolution, so I had ChatGPT help me.
yes.
And then I kind of changed. I basically put in. So I know you guys have had a chance to look at it beforehand. I hope that I basically put in like what the Art Town Grant is looking for, which is art, creative placemaking. They want to see that the arts are embedded at the heart of this project that we're doing. The resolution is just saying that Kingsbury and Habitable will work together to create a city with the arts being considered at its center and as a part of the fabric of what Kingsbury is doing.
All right.
And the reason this partnership is for this grant is
For this and other grants, because I think that, I mean, this is not the only kind of grant out there for creative placemaking, and I think, if we can pull this off, guys, this would be a unique and amazing thing. I don't think that there has been a city that's gotten the Art Town. I mean, there's been municipalities, there's been other things, there's been communities, but an actual entire city working directly with an arts organization in collaboration to create a strategic plan for a city, I don't think they've given any money to that. I think they're going to freak out, and I think that this could be history making. Of course, I get a little excited, but
I think that in combination with the full presentation that Elena gave us, it's a great path to start.
Yes.
Something sustainable for Kingsbury.
Fits under those
I've got little
pillars.
kids in Kingsbury.
Yes.
I've got
You're-
a 10-year-old,
yeah.
an 8-year-old, and I don't want them to leave. I don't want them to feel like they have to.
yeah.
Do we want to
Yeah.
go ahead and bring
Yeah.
it into?
Can I borrow?
Yes.
Okay, so here's the resolution. A resolution to collaborate with local nonprofit arts organization Habitable Spaces in developing a plan that incorporates arts, culture, and design into strategies for strengthening local communities, centering equity, and laying the groundwork for long-term systems change tailored to the community needs and opportunities. Whereas the City of Kingsbury recognizes the vital role that arts, culture, and design play in enhancing quality of life and fostering a sense of community. Whereas there is a need to develop a comprehensive plan that leverages these elements to strengthen local communities and promote equity. Whereas projects under this plan should be place-specific and deeply rooted in unique identity of Kingsbury, reflecting the city's rich heritage and diverse culture. Whereas this initiative aims to lay the groundwork for long-term systems change tailored to the specific needs and opportunities within the community. Whereas local nonprofit arts organization Habitable Spaces is committed to helping the Kingsbury community in reaching these stated goals. Now therefore, be it resolved by the city, Jessica's she's smiling because she's usually the one getting tripped up by all this now therefore. Okay, now therefore, be it resolved by the City Commission of the City of Kingsbury, Texas as follows. Collaboration and partnership. The City Commission commits to collaborating with Habitable Spaces to promote local artists, cultural organizations, designers, and community leaders and residents to develop a strategic plan that integrates arts, culture, design into community strengthening efforts. Equity-centered approach. This plan will prioritize equity, ensuring that all community members, especially those historically underserved, have a voice in the process and benefit from the initiatives. Community-specific projects. These projects will be place-specific, centering and enhancing Kingsbury's unique identity. These projects will be designed to reflect the community's history, values, and aspirations. Long-term systems change. The plan will focus on sustainable long-term systems change, creating lasting impacts that address community needs and opportunities comprehensively. Implementation and accountability. The City Commission and Habitable Spaces will establish a task force to oversee the development and implementation of this plan. All meetings will be recorded and provided to the community to ensure transparency and accountability. Resource allocation. Habitable Spaces will collaborate with the City Commission to seek and allocate resources, including funding and technical assistance to support the successful implementation of this plan. Celebration and promotion, yeah. Habitable Spaces in the City of Kingsbury will actively promote and celebrate the contributions of arts, culture, and design to a community well-being, fostering a vibrant and inclusive environment for all residents. What do y'all think?
I think that, and I think you calling it a partnership is very good because it's an agreement to collaborate with partners. Partners all going to get something out of the partnership, and the church is going to get renovation and continued and going into perpetuity, and it gets the funding from this grant. Habitable Spaces gets the art center, cultural classrooms for history and art and the rest of it. The city, I think, if it's going to be a partner and it contributes to the grant, what is the city getting out of it? And I personally think that this is where we've been talking for the last 2 years about the Clifford or whatever, the Clear, all these funds that we have. We want a community center with a well and a shelter, and I think that needs to be an important part of it in the negotiations. So, and again, we touched on it in our last meeting or workshop about whether it would be a lease or something, and there are the questions about how much of it, how enforceable a lease would be, or what do we get long term. But if we're going to put our money in from the other grants and from all of that, I think the city, like Frank had said one time, there's a quid pro quo. The city should also have and get a piece of the land to build, because most of the grants that we got to look at, you cannot build a city hall with it. We can't get a grant from the state of Texas that does it. They all want to contribute to something else, but it's very hard to build a city hall. We're going to have to find funding for it. So we need the land to do it. I think we haven't found it. The other opportunities and looking around at real estate people. So I that's my contribution, is that I just think that we need to really focus on making sure that the city does get some little corner of it, or whatever's functioning, to carry out that long-term goal we have.
In my mind, in order for this project to be successful, it's a three-part project. It's the renovation of the church with the historical marker. It's the habitable spaces classrooms, which we would do an after-school care and senior classes. And then it would be a completely off-grid, self-sustaining city hall building that we could use for our meetings. It could also be a heating and cooling space, which is what the Kingsbury people of Kingsbury said they wanted, in case the power should go out. It would also have the generator, to keep the space running in case of an emergency, and keep the well running.
Alternative power, water, solar.
Yep.
Let me brainstorm just a little bit, just to get it started rolling here a little bit more in my direction, our direction, a different direction, not terribly from turn. I would say the church, the association owns property. They want to save that building. We would like to save that building. We really would. I'm not averse to a lease. I want to throw a century out there for $1, a penny a year for 100 years. But that's still not secure enough, because people come and go. New people come into a situation, move it, and they change their mind. I would like to see what we want, that we're going to really truly develop, put property, real estate, buildings on, or structures, or something that's semi-permanent. I want to buy that piece of property in total from their block and give them. I'd be glad to give them first right to refuse whenever it's sold. No ifs, ands, or buts. I mean, I don't know what else to safeguard it. If we don't have it, they can have it. But it has to be ours to do is what we want.
I would love to see that happen.
If we
I
do want,
think at least
if we want to put an
footprint under the
Exxon
building.
or a pick and pack convenience store or an HEB stop and go, whatever, on our property, we can. I don't think we will. God, I hope we never will. But we need to have that ability. The rest of it, diagram it, plan it out, all the things you have envisioned. And we can, between us all, we can work out what we want that square block to look like. We want a park, we want agriculture, we want fountains, we want whatever, a yoga mat, all the stuff we want out there. Diagram it out and say, this is our plan. This is what our plan is. But and that's going to stay pretty much within guidelines. The church is also, but this property is ours.
Well,
we're planning on putting buildings on it. We're planning on for this purpose. If we ever decide to sell it, we get the first choice.
I mean, this isn't really about that land at all. This is just saying we resolve to work together.
I know, but
I mean, if we get the land, I mean, that's all. I don't even. That's a future discussion. That would be nice.
I'm assuming there's some discussion going back and forth now between. So yeah, but
those details would be. You're right. This.
Yeah,
I know. But the details that we're talking about, I think, are going to happen. Probably our town is going to require them to be set forth in the grant application, and it's going to have to keep it.
Yeah. See, I don't know what's going to happen first. This comes into you, or an offer comes between us. Whatever happens, happens. But I'm not saying that's an idea I'm throwing out. This is brainstorm.
It would be wonderful to have I would like that too. That'd be an ideal situation.
I just want to be able to protect our investment.
Yeah.
Well, and if we're talking about it being hard to find money to build a city hall, the idea of building a city hall on land that we're only using, and
it might be tricky.
I'm troubled by that.
Yeah.
And like I said,
but I mean, this is totally, this just means we're going to work together to try to get some money to try to make whatever happen. I would love for it to be on that property. It's beautiful, but
debate. I make a motion that we pass this resolution R 2024-02, and
it's a historic day for the arts in Kingsbury.
Well, the motion has been made.
Woohoo!
Do we have a second?
Not yet.
Can I second it even though it's my motion?
I think so, yeah.
I second it.
Yeah.
If you don't, we're out of the.
Yeah. So I'm guessing you second it?
All right, I
All
second
right,
it.
so the motion has been made and seconded to adopt this resolution for collaboration for the Our Town grant. Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, that motion carries. Yay.
Yay.
All right. So, I love getting things accomplished here. Number 11, discuss and consider initial discussion of city budget for fiscal year starting September 30th, 2024. And this is, of course, we have to have a city budget by law adopted by September 30th. Grab the stapler. So I I tried to make it so you color coded here. So what we have in the green column is what we budgeted for 2024, so the current fiscal year. The yellow is what we've actually spent so far this year. So the run it rate is based upon our current spending, what we would end up, or spending or accruals, or expenses and revenues, what we would end up at the end of this fiscal year. And then so the proposed is somewhere along those lines. Okay. So we have our ad valorem tax is, our general use sales tax, excuse me, we don't have an ad valorem tax. Yeah. Is a big zero on that. So we continue to kind of raise more from sales tax, even though the last few have been a little smaller, but our run it rate is 4,300. So I actually put a round down in here, so it kind of rounded it down to the nearest $100 on these, and then I went back through. Mixed beverage taxes, that was something we didn't have in the current budget at all. So this year we should end up with about $2,500, so kind of put that in there. Franchise fees have continued to rise a little bit, so our interest, we really outpaced our interest that we budgeted for 2024, so that is, of course, if we spend any of the money, our interest rates will be significantly smaller than that, but this is based upon current run rates. So the only things that are really different here, our miscellaneous was a bit higher, so I kind of did that because that includes a lot of stuff that Jessica's been with that.
This is like flyers.
Yeah, flyers. Anything that we're spending, any kind of money on, it doesn't really fall into a category.
When we made all those mailers for the hot chocolate social.
Well, actually, yeah. It just anything kind of falls under, and you can look at past. Yeah, you can look at past, and so it would fall under miscellaneous here. So everything's been categorized in the check reports. So one of the bigger change. Okay, so legal fees, I kept those on here at the same rate. One of the, let me see, according to expenses. Okay, so under insurance, we typically have been paying $1,800. It went quite a bit higher than that. It went to $4,000. So that run rate doesn't really reflect a one-time payment. And that was where, I was trying to get that reduced based upon the legal, law enforcement on that. So, I mean, it's not like we're going to be broke on that, but it's just something I want.
What is our renewal date?
It's like in, when is our renewal?
No, the insurance covers stuff like Fall Harvest, right? Or does it?
you know, probably
Well,
not.
it does probably, because, we're paying indemnity insurance
Yeah.
that they're going to pay if something happens. And that's why it's covered, Fall Harvest is covered as a city by them. And I thought that this insurance was going up. It's not that we took on any new coverage.
No.
This is just the cost of
And
insurance.
according to.
Insurance is going up
Yeah,
every
and
year.
according to Chase Patton, our rep, for TMLRT, this happened to everybody,
Yeah.
Yes.
so.
But they
I think
also
just-
added in a cost for marshal or city police, something law enforcement related that we don't have.
Right.
And there's some other,
There was two
something else,
things,
yeah.
there was two things that we could have, I was trying to work with them on this, and,
We were covered for an expense, we were covered
yeah.
for
And I think, and,
a thing that we didn't have.
Well, aren't you talking about, most cities have, spend, like San Antonio, spends a huge amount on insurance to pay for, lawsuits for, police,
Possibly so.
what's
But
the?
we
what's
didn't
the
have
word?
we didn't have those entries of the years before, did we?
Yeah, settlement of,
Settlement,
police
mediation,
brutality. We used to
this
call
was
it
discussed
police.
some time ago.
Yeah,
So,
that's all.
I don't remember
And
exactly.
we,
You said
that's all part of our liability. We can't look at it.
Yeah.
So we can't knock out that.
Right.
And you see
Even
the
though we
price
don't
too,
have
some
policemen.
maybe
Not now.
Not now.
Who's to say that, right, and
Yes.
so just like public education,
Yes.
who's to say?
get it right.
That's what they told me.
And I didn't do that either.
Did you, speaking of, did you hear back on your bond?
You shouldn't
Really?
have to. You shouldn't have
Oh, I
to.
agree.
My
I
kids-
feel
I
They
paid
were going,
my
they
kids'
called me, they were
stamp
gonna
school
call you.
tax, and my kids were
And
private
then they
school,
didn't.
parochial school.
Yeah.
But we did that.
Okay.
No,
Or I called them and they were going to contact you, and then it didn't happen, did it? Okay.
And my
That's
choice
okay.
is not to.
I need to revisit to make sure.
You know, it's my tax money that I'm giving them to fund the school. Let me fund the school my kids are going to. Period. Give me the check, I'll spend it wisely. Probably.
probably.
I will.
I will. I might make a trip to Colorado for Vegas.
You know, they're scared that if they made public educational vouchers, money vouchers, education vouchers, that Seguin School would be empty because nobody would send their kids to those schools. Where the hell do you think they're going to send them? They're not going to drive their kids to San Antonio or San Marcos.
They're not,
No.
Frank, they're not scared that they're not going to be able to send their kids to school. They're scared that their schools won't have any money. If everybody has to pay the tax, then there's not enough to keep the schools open. That's what they're afraid of.
That's because they mismanaged the money they had so badly.
No, it's not. The charter schools and the private schools spend more money on their kids and administrators than the public schools.
Really does.
Yes, they do.
And public schools are mandated by TEA to get paid for attendance, and so now when you see the truancy rate, particularly in Texas, kids not going to school, that cuts funding of that public school, of that exact school.
If they're paid by attendance, and their main goal is to keep the kids in the classroom, regardless whether they learn anything or not. I mean, you do what you get paid for.
It's almost 9 and we have many more items to consider on our agenda here. Not even dinner yet.
But that is something I have on my list.
Other than that, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I did keep ARCID on here.
Reminder.
I like ARCID, I'm gonna pursue that. ARCID
But I
is
don't
the
want to talk about
Association
schools
for
and
Rural
taxes.
Communities in Texas, so it's like for the smaller towns and smaller counties. It's a really good organization, and I really haven't pursued that with them. Let's see, so it really, the insurance was the one that had the big change, there. I don't see anything else. So, this is, I will actually put this as proposed on the website as our proposed budget. We don't have to,
Do anything about it till September?
well, in August, we can certainly, we have to, in order to, get our budget approved, we have to have a public hearing, which is notices in the newspaper and, you know, that whole thing. So, you can,
We've got some time to go through this.
right, and you can review it and see if there's anything, that we need to change. And then I would think that in August, we can go ahead and see about going ahead and adopting, do the public hearing, do the notices in the paper.
Yeah.
And
You want to
if-
have the public hearing at the August meeting?
yes, yes.
That way we're prepared.
Also at 6:30, yes. Certainly, if you see anything in here, we can discuss it.
The
If
public
there's a-
hearing is gonna be our final.
Well,
budget.
if we say, oh, well, we just blew it all out of the water, we can do another public hearing in September. We just
Okay,
have to have
all right.
everything done by September.
Okay, all right.
Well, not to throw it out, especially after I complained about time, but the only thing I see is that the festival fee, which was at 100.
500.
500. We spent more than that, but I know now
Yeah.
that we don't necessarily need porta potties. You are hopefully getting. I mean, we will need some, but
Yeah.
I know
There
that
was
the
some
porta potties are about
extra-
$4.50 for fall harvest. so-
Right, there was some extra on there, and I ended up putting that under festival, the sponsorship for that. It was, just 114 extra
Okay.
dollars for that. That run it rate, is like, it doesn't really reflect a. So it was, just some, I think there was some,
The night out.
I'd have to look at the check report and, no, it had to do with the festival.
Okay.
So it may have had something to
I
do
feel
with.
like we were kind of short last year because when we paid for the porta potties and then there was another expense and like we didn't have enough money to do the sound system and the porta potties or something. The band or
Go back with your band.
yeah. Which now we're not going to have to do because Lovely Shirley's going to have the bands in the dance hall, hopefully.
Yeah.
Recharge that.
But
That's not enough.
that's the only thing I would suggest. Like, are we going to blow through that entire thing and not have any left for National Night Out or the
No, we
trunk or
have,
treat?
money budgeted for National Night Out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to go do this and also with the strategic plan, so.
Right, so we'll put that on for August. We'll work out the public hearing and there's the public hearing, the notice in the paper, there's a certain timing that it has to be, and so I'll see if I can set it. Item number 12, discuss and consider agreement on subdivision regulation. And you know what, I looked at the agenda and I even put it in the newsletter. And then we've already discussed like the
Right.
subdivision.
So we're done with that?
Yes.
I am.
I have
Great.
some items that I have to follow up on
Yeah.
that one. So item number 13, discuss and consider a potential citizens bill of rights for Kingsbury.
Okay, I talked to Art a week or two ago, and he took my ideas, he's got some ideas of his own, he's gonna try to draft them into a resemblance of ordinances
Uh-huh.
that we can all look at. So I was hoping to have it done by this meeting, but I'm glad it's long enough, we don't have it. When we get it together, we'll put it on the message board.
That's
Everybody's
fantastic.
looking at it,
Okay.
because everybody have a different opinion about some things, and we'll see how it all works out.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's a great idea though. Thank you for pursuing that.
All right, item number 14, discuss and consider email webinar, social media, and the legal landscape. This is Jessica.
Yeah, it was just, I saw that this little webinar, it's just an hour-long webinar, it cost $45, but I thought it could be good for a good thing for me to do. Do y'all want me to do it?
I want you to do it. I think you should be as educated on city stuff as possible.
Yeah, okay, great.
Do we need to vote for that?
No, you
Okay.
just said yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, did anybody see her email about that?
Oh, I'm a terrible technical person.
Oh,
and
and
I don't know how to
I'm
get into
sorry,
my
and
email.
I was supposed to take a look at that. We can take a
No, it's okay. It's
I've
basically what
put
you
it off
said.
for so long because I'm
It's
embarrassed that I haven't actually ever
That's okay.
checked my
No,
Kingsbury
but-
City Commissioner.
look. Hey, you
Email is like a
use
terrible person.
GPT.
Okay. I'm just curious,
So
I
yes,
only heard from
I don't
Jack.
think we
I know.
need to, I don't think we
That's
need to vote on approval of that. I believe that
I
is,
think it's great.
Okay, cool.
well, that's something would be well spent. down as.
Clerking like a boss.
Well, we have a training, I think, believe we have a training, item in there. So,
Hey,
here we are at adjourn.
Is it possible to get this signed by you guys so I can submit this, so I can keep this one and submit it to Grant?
This one copy actually looks like, says permanent record.
There you
Yeah.
go, permanent record, that's what you need.
Yeah.
Oh, but is that one you guys need to hang on to?
Oh.
I was just gonna get this signed and then submit it when we do the grant.
I don't know how much the watermark matters. or
yeah.
doesn't matter. I guess-
Well, if you make a copy of it, it doesn't copy, right?
If
Or
usually,
does it?
So, yeah,
I think
maybe
they'll be
just
happy
sign
with
both.
this. I mean, this is gonna be
Secretary.
more than they've gotten from anyone, I'm sure.
clerk.
They were like,
signs it,
a
you
letter
just
from the
put it up
mayor,
there,
and
so.
hopefully we have, if you like that letter.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, municipal government, but, the bank, if the secretary signs it, then that makes
Yeah.
it a legal document, or a permanent copy.
So I'll keep this and I'll take that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna use this as a little upload for the grant. And yes, I don't know if you got the letter that I kind of wrote with Sebastian. I know it's very flattering, but I just kind of wanted to put in that letter like all of our
Did you use AI?
history together. I did not use AI to write the letter.
Oh, okay, okay.
I used my brains.
AI may take over
And
the world
Sebastian,
one day,
He's a
but
lot better than AI,
Passion.
okay.
in the meantime, I'm gonna use it to my advantage.
What's that?
AI may take over the world one day, but in the meantime, I'm gonna use it to my advantage.
Oh, Shane,
I
what was
use
that
the heck
crazy
out of it.
documentary we watched? You guys should all watch it. It's frightening and good.
Yeah.
AI one.
Yeah.
Well, Shirley, if you go ahead and use it, because then after that, that's all you can use.
Yeah.
Until it does not need to.
I will use
Yeah.
it to my, hey, it's gonna use us one way or the other. In the meantime, I will
I'm kidding.
use the heck out of it.
I mean, I do have some fear.
Can we have like an iron internet dome of Kingsbury that would just like make us an internet free zone that the robots can't see us? We could like hoist a little satellite up through the dome.
AI takes over, it shuts down the computers.
But I use the AI to create on a weekly meeting. I use the AI to, we could probably turn this off, right?
Right, are we
Yeah.
adjourned?
Yes, we are adjourned.
All
We did
right,
reach-
8:51, we're adjourned, bye-bye.
On a weekly meeting, and I use AI to create, images